Welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe, and tonight we have a treat. We have a plethora, a smorgasbord, a selection of poets based in East Anglia, or at least with East Anglian connections, and they're either based in East Anglia or they've been exiled. In my case, no one will have me back. So what we've been doing these workshops, and the poems that come tonight, sort of most of them are coming out of the workshops, and we explored different stuff. I think that's it. That's the easiest way to describe it. We explored different stuff every week, and it kind of forced us to write. So some people just write, people like Jodie, and some of us like me need to be forced. So Jodie, I'm going to start with you. Jodie Lee, the skinny poet. You can only see his head at the moment, but below that head is a matchstick. So, Jodie, have you got a poem or three or four for us?
I've got a few for you. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Hello, everybody. I'm a skinny poet. I can't remember all the things that these were based on, but this one I think has got to be something to do with childhood. I really enjoyed writing this one. It's about a park, and it goes like this. It's called The Park. This magical land of adventure, this grand old palace of play, where visits are filled with noise and joys that break up the boredom of days. Over there, the hard iron dragon, where kids slide down his tail to escape. And there, the disc of confusion, where your steps are turned into a sway. And the central piste de resistance, where we dance upon the air. We start flying, gradually defying gravity as wind sweeps through our hair. This hero's journey meets with friends and foes. In this pen is where it all starts. Until all of the old ogres and trolls round us up to take us home before it's dark. There we go. I'm pretty sure that is to do with childhood. I don't know, or maybe just mean parents dragging their kids out the park before they want to go. That might have been a bit specific, but it could have been, who knows. This next one, I wrote this one more recently, and this is to do with fresh starts. I wrote that one down so I remember it, and I love this poem. It's actually become, I put this into one of my journals recently because I like it so much. This is called, I don't know what it's called, but it's to do with fresh starts. Here we go. And breathe, each breath brand new, then gone. Each heartbeat existent, and then not. That still moment hidden beneath thought collapses and dances and swerves away, but never leaves. Like grabbing at air, I let go of trying and just let the air be. And breathe, and breathe, and breathe. Then broken. The waltz of a thought parades through my mind. You're doing it. Great. That felt good. Do it again. This new moment has me back at the start. An ending, a beginning. And once more, I breathe. There we go. For anyone who tries meditation, I'm sure knows very much how that goes. Where your brain starts saying all this stuff to you. There's there's so many poems in these workshops that I've really enjoyed writing, and this is another one where I went a little bit out of my comfort zone with the rhyming and just got a bit ranty. It was a lot of fun. And this was to do like if if I ruled the land. And it goes like this. If I ruled the land, then I'd abolish all fences, all gates, all walls, all flags, all borders. I'd say, this is your land. This is my land. This is our land. And where the land meets the sea, I'd extend my powers exponentially and send great cleansing cruisers, which I'm not sure exist, but hey, I'm rich now because I own all the lands. I guess I must be. So I would build them great solar-powered boats that cleanse the sea and fill it with more fish and algae and plankton and plants until its crystalline glow shines like the air. And speaking of the air, I would use this accrued power, I mean I am on a roll now, to stop all smoke and black ash gas from filling up our atmosphere. All pollution would be illegal. If I owned the sky, the day would be praised and the night hailed, and the turn of the earth would be cherished as a marvel. No oil, no soot, no big black boots stomping its beauty down. If I ruled the land, I would make a few changes. There we go. The last, yeah, I've got one more. I've got more in here if we need for time. This one's a bit long as well. And I actually wrote this, I performed this recently for, I forget the name, the museum that's in the Cornhill in Bury anyway. They wanted to put some of my poems up on their site, bless them. I forget what it's called. It's terrible of me. But yeah, I performed this for them, recorded it and sent it off. So hopefully it'll be up on there. So a lot of fun. And the subject, we were given homework to write about a clarion call. And this was after hearing the beautiful poem at the inauguration. Yeah, John gave us this subject to write about. And this is what I come up with. And it ended up being about austerity. So I called it austerity. While each is born a blank slate, some are born with bank statements that grant wealth and power half the world will never know. And from that point, it grows. First it drips, then it trickles, then it flows until it feels so powerful it can move the earth. It can birth new monuments to express its worth to a bruised and crumbling world. They say economic growth is finite. Well, where then does it end? When will it not trend? How will they defend their dividends from being divided in the end? By sending us crumbs? By keeping us numbed? If we don't succumb, would they drop the bomb? I mean, that sounds crazy, right? But some people fight for their wealth. They hold tight to the idea that they deserve this. They deserve this portion of the earth on which we all live. They deserve to be able to take, not to give. They believe in the power of elite ruling class. But they forget that ideas can be fragile like glass, and that wealth is the illusion that greed manifests, and power and greed, they're the closest of friends. See, they may say elite, but I say disconnected. For accumulation of wealth has a knock-on effect, and it's always the vulnerable who suffer. The poor families with single working fathers and mothers who one day find they've lost their job because of corporate shuffles to aid those at the top. See, where does it stop? When will it stop? How do you stop a waterfall when you are just a drop? But a drop can make changes when it joins with its kind. If it becomes the rain and states this is not right, in many drops there is power. In many drops storms are born, and in there is thunder, and new rivers can form. Then people will take notice. The terrain can then change. We can rearrange all the wealth and create a fairer exchange. See, it may not stop pain because wealth is not well. If it was, then why would so many millionaires kill themselves? See, it is a deception that success equals happiness. And you can't learn that until you have everything that you need. And that seed makes you grab at power and greed, but it makes more sense to me to just need what you have. But then that's easy for me to say when I've got a few quid in the bank. Thank you. I don't know. Yeah, thank you. If there's more time at the end, maybe
Yeah,
I'll see.
yeah, we're likely to get a sec, But right now, I want to go. I want to go to the king of the short verse. And now you're going to surprise me by doing doing an epic. I know, yeah, because you keep me on my toes, Andrew. But thank you, Jody. That was yeah, that was a bit of the range of the workshops. You introduced the workshops nicely there. Andrew, Mr. Andrew Underwood, have you got a few pieces for us?
Yes, I've got a few pieces, John.
Thank you.
And in keeping with my reputation, I've got four short poems followed by one long poem. And so it's four short poems followed by one long poem. This is called Poverty. Better to write poor poetry from the heart than varnished verse to a tearless tart. And this next poem is about mental health, and it's called Voices. And again, it's only 4 lines. Voices. My music teacher said, the voice has the greatest instruments. A kind man, prone to cutting compliments. And this is another short poem called Omelette. The way you broke an egg, she broke my heart. Yolks and whites mixed in a tousle tart. And this is just simply called Short Poem. Short poem. Who needs television when you've got sky? The coloured clouds of imagination, the mind's eye. And this is a longer poem, and this is a poem about friendship, and it's called The Chisel. The Chisel. At first, I'm at the sink, listening, the water hardening like autumn air. You hold the chisel, the wood softening, spirals of splinters splintering, the side of a suggestion box, you said. We're sitting, us chancers, almost chatterboxing in your box of a flat, shadow boxing the evening shade, chatting about hospitals, harm, hurt. Slightly harmful, I sing some Bowie, sorrow. You're still chiseling. Splinters and words are on our minds, karate, karaoke, empty orchestras, and roots of meaning, roots. You work the wood as I reach and almost find the dictionary, a penguin edition, pages flickering like splinters. Urged on, we search for origins of sorrow, sorrowful, sore and sorry. You said something about karate meaning empty hand. I fumble and mutter about fireworks, November near. Ironic, the silence now, you're smoking, the chisel resting, your almost empty hands. The dictionary falls from my fingers, a kind of closing, all except for sorrel, a new word we'd learnt, a light reddish, brownish colour. You're chiselling again, your clean blood pulsing, pulsing, the wood shaping somehow. Again I'm at the sink, the kettle steaming, a pouring of the milk into your coffee, your cup colouring, a sorreling perhaps, a ruddy brown. The evening curdles like some darkness, wondering. Wandering, I walk back, the poem wearing in my possession.
Whoa, Andrew, you're just talking of chisels. That's finely, your stuff is so finely hewn. Finely, Janine, are you there? You have to unmute now. A new face this last few months to the workshop has been Janine Clark, and producing amazing stuff.
I don't know if I want to go on.
That's all right. Give us a couple. Just give us a couple. You don't have to 1,000.
Okay. Right.
And then I'll promise I won't do this to you again for months.
I wasn't going to come on, but anyway, okay. Just a couple. Yeah. Twist her, break her, deprive her of the sun. Dawn will always appear again. Her growing's just begun. Knife her, slice her, steer her from the earth. Tentacles foraging for nutrients. This is her rebirth. Neglect her, reject her, dehydrate her soul. Drop her in the water of a lonely small fish bowl. Choke her, poke her, break off all her leaves. Regenerating, illuminating, watch what she achieves. Oh. So these poems are what John has made us do. His subject. Right. Okay. So, right. My mate, my drinking and smoking buddy, when you stole my rent money and cheese, after I'd given to you so generously anyhow, you taught me to be vigilant and protective. My ex-brother, after 23 years of friendship, you ripped my heart and my love for you into teeny weeny fragments and dust. I can still see the little sad pile of rubble. Did you know that you illuminated just what genuine loyalty means to me now? Fuckboy, narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, whoever you may be. When you cheated and lied and mutilated me with precision cruelty, were you aware that you were actually waking me up into the glaring and the glowing awareness of self? Fiancé for a month. I know why you wanted to buy and own me with a blood bling diamond ring. I learnt why you strangled me and threatened to kill my Marley cat. I studied your type by degrees some 20 and 30 years later. Mum, if you hadn't have offered me up to him as a lamb to the slaughter, how would I have been able to understand, see, or have empathy for the broken children standing before me, swathed in their adult skins? How could I? There are far too many of you to mention, and some I have totally forgotten, but I just wanted to say that due to your actions and your non-actions, you will be forever intertwined in my life tapestry, adding contrasting, interesting, and variegated colours, shades of, and feelings. You have all shown and taught me where true treasure resides. And for this, I am grateful. So thank you.
Thank you, Janine.
I did it.
Yeah, right, no, I think you can unmute yourselves and give Janine a huge round of applause.
Yes.
Well done.
Stepping off the cliff.
Well
done,
done, Janine. Well done.
Right. Now, I thought we were going to have poems from a couple of dogs, but they've moved aside, and Emma is behind them. So, Emma,
Hey.
have you got something a bit canine? No, I meant have you got a few poems for us?
Always.
I have every confidence.
Sure. So this poem, we were told to write a poem about poetry. So here's what I came up with. I was told to write a poem in my poetry workshop. We had 10 minutes to write it, and then we had to stop. We were given an idea, something to write about. We had to write it quickly in the time that we were allowed. I picked up my pen and paper and stared at it for an age. I was never going to do it. I was never going to fill this page. My palms started sweating. My heart began to race. I wish poetry was easy. I wish I could write like William Yeats. Our task for the workshop was to write about poetry and write about writing a poem in 10 minutes, supposedly. I was going to write about words and the form that words can take, but I felt like it was a little too forced. It felt a little too fake. So I just put pen to paper to see what would come out. It could be called a poem, I suppose, but I do still have my doubts. Thank you. So this one was about our love song. We had to write about our, sorry that you might hear some barking, but ignore, our love song. My love song should be full of quick glances and stolen kisses and strong arms and Mr. and Mrs. Not whatever kind of hell this is. Who squeezes the toothpaste from the middle? I'm trying to keep things civil. Instead, my love song is full of pants on the floor, toilet seats left up, a deep rumbling snore that will always wake you up, open post you seem to forget, doors left open, a whole load of upset, burnt toast, mud everywhere. But under it all is a bucket full of care, a spade full of lovers, memories and fun, fights over the covers, and you, the one. So this little poem came about when John told us to write about something that we came across on our last walk. And it's called The Wild Web. Your web of wonders woven wildly across my path. Bear with me. Back to me in 2 minutes.
Honestly, I'm not that much of a slave master to taskmaster, whatever. I didn't. It's all lies. I didn't do it.
Really sounds that way.
I'm sorry. I'm back.
Okay, Emma, the set is yours again. The floor
I'm
is
so
yours.
sorry. Right. The wild web. Your web of wonders woven wildly across my path. Your web of silver thread woven from the wonders of this world. At least while you weave your web, you don't have to contend with paws playing with your knitting balls. Your web is so neat. It drips jewels from its head to its feet, like the richest of queens in my wildest dreams. Your net is cast wide in a sea of flies, watching, waiting, patiently plotting where to weave next. Your web wavers wonderfully in the wind. I just wish I'd kept my mouth closed when I walked through it. And finally, for you all, we were to write, I can't remember actually what the topic was. I think it was Bright Side. So I wrote about B-sides, as you do. In this poem, there are 7 B-sides, 2 A-sides. See if you can spot them all. The B-side. Side B, the side you rarely let anyone see. It's the side they paid for. Your side A leaves them wanting more. Don't dull your light. Don't go and hide behind your A side. You should shine in your own right, in your own light. So don't hide half the world away. Wake up, Maggie. I think I got something to say. God only knows that you're the sweetest thing. If you just let your B-side sing, be the man who sold the world. Don't put up with life on Mars or fast cars. Do it for you. Good riddance to your brain stew. Thank you.
Right, Emma. I plead not guilty to everything you have accused me of. I'm just going to get a picture before I do the next one. Let's see. Well, whoa. Trouble is, I have to do, when I set all this stuff, well, no, actually, I asked for suggestions, and it's mainly comes from the floor. And that's the truth. Call me a storyteller if I lie. I'll try and do a bit myself. So as I advertise this as a bit of East Anglia, I thought I'd start with a couple of East Anglian bits. And the first one's about a place on Shotley Peninsula. Thank you, Mike. There's on Shotley Peninsula, where the Orwell and the Stour meet, there was a naval training station. But when kids left school at 15, called HMS Ganges down at Shotley, and I was in married quarters down there. It was my dad's last posting. So, ghosts of 15-year-old sailor boys on field gun practice opposite the married quarters bus stop, carrying big spoked wheels, cast iron barrels and gun carriages as petty officers barked orders. The training ship, I say ship, more a barrack, stands abandoned at that place where the Orwell meets the Stour at the North Sea. Every so often, there's a campaign to save and restore the mast. I wonder if the ghosts care. And this is the mast. And all these juniors, all these kids would line, and the person right at the top, there was one right at the top, and he was called the Button Boy. And he stayed up there, you know, loads of health and safety in those days. He was leaning, he kept his balance by leaning against the lightning rod that was up the top there. But it now stands abandoned, obviously. And every so often, you know, they think it's a monument, they should restore it. I think I asked for a bit of historical stuff at one point. So and again, I stayed with Ipswich in this one. And I kind of, there's a lovely story about, and it's during the Napoleonic Wars, and there were flower riots in Ipswich, and also and on Stoke Bridge, which would in then was between well, Gippswick as it was, and Stoke, the women held the line, and during the riot, and kept back the dragoons, and threw a few in the river, and also they did. It's where the term forestalling comes from. The price of butter shot up during the Napoleonic Wars, so the women stopped the butter merchants on the way into town, took the butter off them, and sold it at at the butter market at a fair price, and then gave the merchants the money and that's where forestalling, the word forestalling, comes from. So I think I was asking people to do a rhymey thing here. A dragoon crawled smelly from the gipping, his tunic soaked, his headwear dripping. When questioned, he answered above the din, "'Twas a housewife threw me in." It appeared she was a tad upset about the flour she couldn't get because the price was far too high, so she preferred to riot than die. She's not alone. Across the nation, there's women getting above their station. They're raiding mills and taking butter, refusing to lay down in the gutter before selling the food at a price that's fair. I'm really not as sure they don't know how they dare. But right now, all I want to get are dry clothes, minus soaking wet. So, and this is a couple of naturey ones, I think. I don't know. It's the next one anyway. The heron. I was walking and there was this heron just sat in a tree above the road, above the footpath. And it actually didn't, it was quite close and it didn't give a monkeys about everyone stopping, and everyone was taking photographs of it. So sitting shaggy, feathered, fat on a bough above the footbridge, beak straight out and sharp, scourge of pike and perch, heron, unflustered by passing cyclists and pedestrians who pause to take out their phones for photographic purposes before continuing with their perambulations, waits for breakfast, dinner and tea. I'd like to think of him in bib and bow, being served by sprites, serving kipper paste and cucumber sandwiches with no crusts and fish suppers, paying homage to its majestic self before retiring with a fine Cuban cigar and a glass of port. Oh, this was oh God. This is, I was going to do If I Ruled, but he's done that already. There was somewhere along this thing, we decided that there was a poem to be written, and I asked everyone to give us something to put in the poem, and I put it here. I think I'm not sure if the blue poo bag came from Jodie or not, or whether it was Emma, who's concerned with dogs. But the list was model Father Christmas, poo bag, rotten tree stump, and crushed beer can. So, and that was good. And I had it here. There we are. No. Of course, if I was a proper poet, there we go, I'd have little markers in the book. But I did get somewhere today. I use 1,000 of these blue exercise books to write in, and I got a pile about this thick of them and started extracting stuff and writing it in one book. So, just above the mulch, where roots become wood, wood becomes trunk, and trunk becomes stump, where rot reigns, an ever-changing landscape of fungi, toadstools, beetles, and decay, a few keepsakes, a blue poo bag, a crushed beer can, a faded, deflated plastic Father Christmas, its fabric torn, its red now orange, testament to impermanence, shrine to existence's leftovers, metamorphosis, a new tomorrow, overseeing it all, the weather vane, forever pointing out to those who would prefer to live in suspended animation, all are subject to the winds of change. Right. And I think I'm going to finish on a. How are we doing on time? Yeah, I'll do this last one, and then I think everyone just reads one more. Janine, have you got you don't have to, but have you got one?
I have got, yeah, I have got a little
Yeah,
one. And I'm
so you don't need it yet, but
no, brilliant.
everyone do
Look.
it. Right. So
Yeah.
I thought as I lived down in West Country, I'd use a bit of I'd get something a bit West Country worked in. But as I live in Wiltshire, where the moonrakers are, Mike can know about this. He lives down the road. But the weight on your shoulders is there to be shared. So your spine is spared a compact with a universe that never subscribed to the cult of the individual. Drops of water catch the light, become a pond where fools fish for the moon. Stargazing strangers tell each other stories. In the morning, they kick the embers of the fire and watch the sparks fly. Apart from each other, they die. The fools fish deeper, retrieving barrels of contraband, a move in unison to deceive the wise. We rub shoulders, spark off each other, melt into one, the load now no heavier than a sun's beam. Right, so bit of old nonsense there. Right, Jody, got another one for us.
I have, yeah. I'd like to do 2 short ones actually, if that's okay.
Well, you got a license. Yeah.
I got a bloody license. That's right. I'm here now.
Passed your poetry test.
I've still got the training wheels on sometimes, mate. I tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna do one about food. These are both a bit of fun. We've done one about food, which I really enjoyed, and then another one about being creative. Here's the one about food. Pizzas and pancakes and peaches and pears. Oh, despair for the man who has no tongue. For to talk of these things is but half the joy. First they dance in my mind, then they dance in my eyes, then the salts and sweets and savouries delight every sense. They fill the air with intoxicating smells and fill my mouth with invigorating taste and fill my body with regenerating waves. There is naught like filling your empty stomach after a long and weary day. The warm flow of life coursing into your veins as you put down your cutlery and lick clean your plate. Is there dessert? Oh yes, please. Hot peach pie with cold ice cream. Oh, can I have another? It's been a long day. Then perhaps I'll slumber and let the food do its work. It's made me hungry.
You told me you just eten before you came on.
Eaten, yeah, that was purely for comical effect, I'm afraid. Just never believe an entertainer. This one's about being creative. I'm not sure if it was about writing poetry. I can't remember, the same one that Emma spoke about earlier. But yeah, I really liked it. I think I wrote this just before a workshop. I'd been in a bit of a funk and hadn't written anything. So to get myself out of it, I just pen to paper, drew a nice little doodle, and then wrote this. Scratch that itch. It should not be left on off. Whatever it is, just scratch that itch. Write, draw, dance, talk. Spread your imagination upon reality, for that is reality. Creativity needs to birth from your deepest point. It doesn't need to be perfect. It almost certainly won't be. It just needs to be expressed. Your expression is valuable, for it is your gift. So whenever you can, please just scratch that itch. There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Andrew, have you got a couple more or one or in your case, 1,000, because that will be the length of one. Have you got a couple more for us, Andrew?
I've got one fairly long one, John.
Perfect.
This is called Scar. Loss echoes like a 4-letter word. Loving and leaving, procreating. Your ignited eyes I have served, our tremulous voices reverberating. As a ghost, a love now haunts, intoxicates, yet sober. Your tenderness still groans, still taunts what is dead and what is over. And yet you are the wraith within my veins, my soul dashed, frenzied and strange, whitened by your vital visitation, made ghostly by this aching apparition. Your phantom's red lips, a kind of lost wound, heaving, hurting, yet healing too soon.
Yeah. I wrote a bit about poetry being like a dagger, and you know, you kind of get struck right in there, Andrew. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Janine, you muted. Oh, there you go.
Hello. Yeah, so this very short poem I wrote in 2016. I was in a woman's refuge, so I sort of got my inspiration from walking through the Abbey Gardens and seeing some flowers growing off the wall. And yeah, it's really about it was about the ladies in the refuge. So it's called Thriving. As I focus in on the dry stone wall, I see the gift of life and much beauty. Though so barren a host seems the tall grey structure, a bouquet of pretty flowers are surviving. Delicate, coloured purple and dancing in the breeze, I ponder in awe and amazement. For there's no fertile ground they are rooted upon, but they're living, breathing and thriving. That's it.
Thank you. Oh, Emma, what you got?
I've got a couple. Should I do a couple for you?
Why not?
Why not? This one's called With Love. The mind wanders to all the places that hurt the most. I live with your ghost. It's there when I open my eyes, when I brush my teeth, when I go to sleep. I miss your voice. No matter how hard I try, I can't remember it. If I had a choice, if I'd had my way, you'd still be here. I have the last card you sent to me. I imagine you signing it, with love. For now, you look after us from above in your own way. Thank you. And bear with. This one was from another prompt from your workshop. I can't remember what the prompt was. It was something about in the garden, being in the garden or being outside. Anyway, so this is called Oh Rats. I am the rat of the sky. I feed from your forgotten food strewn across the pavement. I gorge on your chips and I peck threateningly at your feet. I glide across the sky, happily cooing at my fellow flying feral friends. I swoop and I swirl, I twist and I twirl. I fly as high as I can. I stop sharp in the sky. My fellow flying rats wonder why. But quick, I must go. I swoop down low. Aha, there's my target, innocently walking her dogs round her garden. Thank you.
Whoa. You see, nature ain't nice. Emma's nature is, you know, comes up and bites you in the rear. So I want to thank you all, and I'm going to finish on thanks. We had that as a prompt. I wish I could sit on a I wish I could sit on a stool next to him and say, "Cheers, mate," then turn away, knowing I had thanked the man whose rendition of Work Song had kick-started my day. I wish I could shake the hand of every musician whose notes had swung through my head, taking me to and from bed, who had filled the spaces I have inhabited up and down the motorway, whose rhythms have caused my feet to tap, my fingers clip, my hands to clap, my legs to glide, my mood inside to stay up, my cup to be filled with joy. Boy, it's no small thing to swing and cheers. And thank you all. The work, yeah, it's been a real pleasure running the workshops. So they will continue, and thank you all for turning up. And one round. And if anyone wants to unmute and say anything to my, I'm proclaiming ownership here to our poets, to our poets. Yeah, excuse me. I'll just get my ego back in its box. But another round of applause for the poets. And if you anyone unmute and have a natter.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I really enjoyed that. It's fun to see all the different parts from workshops that we've done coming together into one place, you know. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, John. Thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you for hosting us and guiding us as well, John.
Anyone who follows me has got a psychiatric problem.
Well, I never said we were perfect.
Mike, thank you for being an audience.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's coming along late, not having been through the workshops. It was brilliant to actually sit and listen and hear the quality of the work that's been produced. And you must be very proud of your guys, since you're insisting on calling them yours.
Well, it's only because I'm down the road. I'm a sort of 100 miles down the road, so they can't give me a slap. Wanda, thank you for coming. Can Wanda hear us?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Oh, she can't hear me. She managed to blank me out and hear everyone else. There's lots of people that wish they could do that.
You weren't even on mute this time.
Ali, thank you for hosting. Thank you, Ali.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Good night, everyone. Oh, no, the week to come is tomorrow night at 5 o'clock UK time, if everyone's listening anywhere in the world, is our young tellers and poets, and they're 18 years and under. And as Mike will tell you, they are amazing. I know you can't come at the moment, Mike. You've got something else on, but we get kids from Gaza, from Punjab, from Scotland, from England, and even Norfolk, and a bit of Suffolk. So and it's, you know, it really, you see kids in living under the most difficult of circumstances, doing these fantastic stories and having this enormous optimism, you know. And I think, what are the rest of us whinging about, mate? So,
Yeah,
not to diminish anything, but you know, it's good for my heart when I see these kids on a Tuesday. And then on Friday we've got well, Friday morning I'll meet you lot again, and if you haven't sacked me, and then but Friday at 6 o'clock we have stories for children. We've got a fantastic storyteller, Georgiana from Romania, and she's brilliant. She's going to be doing stories for children. Then I forget what I've got next Saturday, but I've got something amazing. No, it's not Saturday, Sunday. And then probably something else amazing on Monday.
Is it Jackie Ross and Phil?
I think it's Jackie Ross and Phil. We're doing Doric stories, and it's going to have Pauline Cordner on doing ballads, Doric ballads. Doric is a kind of dialect in Aberdeen, around Aberdeen. So we've got, and of course we're getting ready for next February our festival in Marrakesh. So that'll be
Exciting.
that's what we're all working towards. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for reading. Thank you for being an audience. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, John. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Can I just say, John, you look pretty in pink.
Thank you.
You look lovely.
Right. Right.
Bye bye.
Oh. Oh God. Yeah. This one is still there.